Hi friends, it's a new week. We'll start our Python basic program. So in this last week we have covered several topics but basics only. So what are the reserved words, what are the built-in functions, and what care we have to take while declaring a variable and all. So we discussed all this and summarized it also last entire from Monday to Friday. This week also will continue. So before we move again, request is please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you'll be notified as and when we are adding new tutorials, and we are frequently adding that also. So this week we'll start with our one of the important, I cannot say most important, one of the important is if else. So if else, then we'll move to our loops, and then we'll develop small programs where different mathematical applications like Armstrong number or some creating a simple table, because we'll start with very simple applications, so that way our understanding of the program structure, loops, program blocks and all will improve. Then we'll move towards advanced integrating with say database and all. We'll do that. So we'll start it as usual. Let us go to our Colab platform. Those who are new may ask why Colab. So last week also we have discussed. Let's go there. Yeah, we are in our Colab platform. Here we are. So by using Colab, we can easily develop, because it's a cloud platform from Google, and you can just use your Google account to log in, reach there and keep all your files in your cloud, so that way you can easily share it also. Right top share button is there, you can use that. So you, and all these codes, whatever we write it now, we'll be putting it in GitHub, and the link will be there in our site where it will be. Let's just see that where it will be. This URL you will get it in our description of this. So this URL, if you visit it, scroll down, let me close this. So scroll down, all the entire whatever we'll discuss is available here. So then we'll, at the end, you will get a link to GitHub. So this is at the GitHub, and from in the GitHub also you will get a link to, from here you can download it, Jupyter notebook or whatever you want from the GitHub, and you can use this open in Colab. So once you click this in your Google account, it will open up in Colab platform, which you can save it. So let's just, this is what we will be using. So we'll start from here. So this is the first example what you have kept it. So from this we'll start. Now let me just ask you a few questions. Say in our real life situation, there are certain questions or certain checks which have a answer in yes or no. Say, is this book available in library? The answer will be yes or no. It cannot be in between something. So similarly, have you cleared the exam? The answer is yes or no. If I'll ask you mark, there may be a different marks answers will be. But this is a something we reach a stage where you have to check it. It is yes or no. In a programming language, we tell it is true or false. And another thing, sometimes again, what will happen to a none? None means what? None means here it is that when you are talking about none, let's just be clear. None is not zero or empty string. None is something where our data is not available. Say it is a missing information. There it is the concept. Say someone has appeared the exam and got some marks. Some people appeared the exam, they got 0 mark. But some people didn't appear the exam. So what will tell about them? You can't say those who are not appeared as they got 0 mark. No. They are not, for them the data is not available. Same way the none. But here in if else, we will see how the none is handled. Basically, it is true and false. Yes or no in a real life situation. That we translate it. Let's come back to our Colab platform. We are in Colab. Let's say this example here. We'll add more examples and then follow it. So we are here now. See, x is equal to 10. The first example we have already written. Y. Two variables we are telling. If x is greater than y, x is greater than, write it, x is greater than y, or y is greater else. What happens when you check a if condition? Then if it is true or based on true or false, if it is false, then else part is executed. There is no further checks. But If it is true, then if part is executed. If it is false, then else part is. So one of the, in a if else, one of the code block will be executed. So we'll get a one answer here. Y is greater than x, because x is 10, y is 20. Here you see, this will return as true. Okay, now let's make this as 30. So we will get the reverse answer. Now we can say x is greater than y. Now this, what happens here? Here now this became true. Earlier case it was false because the condition was different. So this is how we get the if and true and false case, and we evaluate and accordingly. This is a simple example, but moreover you can get multiple examples. So in a complex situation, so let's close this, start one more code block. Anyway, this particular Colab notebook will upload it, so you can get with all the sample examples, whatever we tested. Now Python gives us a one more condition. See, it is exclusively in Python. It is not that in C or PHP we can't write it. There is a elif. What a elif does is, elif gives you another test, but elif will only be executed only if the if condition fails. If condition fails or it is false, then elif also checks another condition. What's the advantage of this? We'll see that. Say, I am starting here x equal to 10. Now I am saying y equal to, again, say I am starting with 20. Let me put 20. Fine. Now this is if x is greater than y. X is greater than y, then what happens? Then you say, sorry, why I am putting it, okay, not mess. Here the mistake is. If x is greater than y, then what condition I'll write it, just print, say x is than y. Fine, that's the logic is appear. Now here I am giving elif. Elif means I am just again checking one more condition, but this part only if condition, my first if condition fails. So for that I am saying y is greater than 15. Now here I will say print greater than 15. Now what I am writing here is else print y, sorry, I have to put quotes because it's a string. Y is greater than x but less than 15. Okay. Now if I run this, see the condition here, x is greater than y, x is greater than y. Now let's run this. Y is greater than 15. So this condition, this line, because this is a check, this line. Now if x is greater than y, then say I am putting it here 50. Now what happens? X is greater than y. So this part is not checked. So I am saving some processing power here. So because I am second time I am checking with elif. So elif adds improves my processing, because that way, that is the main difference between else and elif. Else is if, suppose if and else is there, if k condition fails or if is false, then else is compulsorily it runs. If I have multiple if conditions I am checking, so if this, then I have multiple time I am checking. One of the condition is false, then I am not, one of the condition is true, then also I am checking the other things. Say I am giving an example. You are calculating the grade mark of students. Say if it is beyond 80 or it is mark is 80 or more, then it is A grade. If it is more than 60, then it is B grade. What we mean is more than 60. But tell me, if someone got 90 mark, it is more than 80, but at the same time it is more than 60 also. So you will give him B grade also, but that is not the logic. Here the elif will help. Once one logic is satisfied, then the next logic need not be checked. That is where the elif will come into picture. We will see this example when we find out the grades. So there are some shortcuts you can use it also, that we will discuss little. What's the time? Yeah. So some short methods. x equal to, let's say 10, now y equal to 10. Now if y is greater than x, now how I am writing the syntax, you just see, then print. Now here, so here I will x, if x is greater than y, there is no if condition. If y is greater than x, let me just put it 20. So run this. X is greater than, this is a short way of writing it. In one liner I am writing if, next I am not coming, I can write it this way also. There is one more thing, else also, it is not included, but let us add that. So I am just copying this, putting one more code block here, putting it here. If what is that? Okay, I am adding else if y is big, if y is greater than x. See here the syntax is little different. Y is big, I am writing y is big and closing this. If this you will write if y is greater than x. Sorry, let me put this also. Else print x is greater than y. Fine. This is the code. Let's run this. This is where I am including if y is big, if y is greater than x, else print x is big. Expected. Okay, here I missed. If y is, sorry, here I cannot write. Let's run this. Y is big, so y is greater. Now here I will say this, I will make it bigger. Now let's run this. X is greater than y. So that is how you can write it, a if and else condition in a single line. This is just the way of syntax only, the writing style. You just think that where to use if and where to use elif and where to use else. That will be more clear when we go for small scripts, where easy scripts, there the logics will build up, and some pattern building also will see. Function for odd and even numbers. Now what I can do, mark is then status. Okay, pass if mark is greater than 50. One more, this is one more good example is here. Say mark is 45. Now what I am going to do is status equal to, this is a variable only, pass if mark is greater than 50, or you can put equal to also 50, else, this is frequently we use, fail. Now what I will do is print status. What happened now? Fail. Okay, let me just increase the situation. You got it, pass mark. So you can just use a similarly one absolute value of an input number. Let me just move a bit. What's the time? Okay, here absolute value. Now let's say I am taking some user input. I will just copy this code. This is a quite easy one and put it here. So I am taking a value, input a number. If it is less than 0, then I equal to minus I. Say I am running this. It asks me a number. Say I am giving minus 5. What's the absolute value? Absolute value is 5. Now once again I am running. If I am giving a positive number, say 10, then absolute value is 10. That's all. Now here it is just set the user input. One more example we will see where you will be using a nested condition. So multiple if conditions are there. So we will check that one. Now let me just write the code here. I will do one thing. I will just copy up to this point. I am copying. So you take it as a user input. I have user input. I have commented this. Let me give bigger number, 20 and 30. Okay. Now 3 variables. You can take it as a user input in your application. Uncomment these lines and comment these 3 lines. So next, if condition n1, the first digit is greater than equal to n2, and and is a logical operator. Both sides are true, then only it will be true. That is the and operation. We'll learn more about that also. And n1 is greater than equal to n3. Now this is the condition. Then what happens is, now once more, if this is true, if now second, see n1 I checked with n2 and n1 I checked with n3, but I don't know what is the relation between n2 and n3. That's what I am going to do. If n2 is greater than or equal to n3, then what happens is you print, I have to print it in sequence, highest, next, next, like that. So print n1 comma n2 comma n3. So okay, this is one way of writing. Fine. Here else, where I am writing the else condition, you just see this should be parallel to this else. Okay, not to this. Okay, let me move it up. Not to the line number 7. It is parallel to line number 8. Else print. Now n1 is definitely higher. Earlier we have checked n3 comma n2. Fine. If it is, so both the cases n1 is number 1, then n2, n3 I have compared here in the second one. Then if it that is the case, this is the sequence you have to write it. Now what I am going to do is, here if condition, say other conditions I will say. Here what I am coming here, what I am going to do is using elif, because if this is satisfied, then this part is not required. So what I am going to do is elif, I am just pasting it here. Just see this, if n2 is greater than n1 and n2 is greater than n3. Three things. The first digit, we are checking it whether n2 is greater than n1 and greater than n3. So these two conditions, then this line comes. In this, then we will check n1 and n3, because n2 is already the number 1. So n1 and n3, so with the sequence will be like that. Otherwise, n2, n3, n1. n1 and n3, these two. So that is what the second one. So if this condition is satisfied, then no need for this condition. If this condition is not satisfied, then only this part comes into picture. If this is not satisfied, then the third condition will come. So for that I am writing, I could have write a else condition also, but I am writing a elif condition. So let me just put it here. Fine. So if here first n1, second n2, third one is n3. Now let me just give a little gap so you can understand the three code blocks. Fine. Let's just run this and see. Same thing here I am checking. Okay, 30, 20, 10. Now let me make this one bigger. 50. So 50, 30, 10. Now let me make this third one bigger. 80. So now it should write in the highest to lowest. Whatever I change the n1, n2, n3, it will always from the highest to lowest standard. So this is how. But here it is more efficient. So once a condition is satisfied, rest of the things are not checked. If this is line number 7 is failed, then only elif line number 13 is checked. If line number 13 is failed, then line number 19 is executed. So that is how we'll be increasing the efficiency of codes. Imagine I can just, instead of if also, I can give elif, I can use if. But in that case, all the lines I have to execute. Fine, that is the main advantage of it. Similarly, one more example, I'll just copy it and use it here. Let me just, for our understanding code, let me just, if else, here multiple or combinations, or is either this is or any one is true, then it is true. So, but one is, only one is true, then it is fine. Now let's say if it is Jan, Feb or March, then we are in the, this is the last quarter of financial year, of the financial year, last quarter, Jan, Feb, March. Don't think it is this part is, this is based on some, this is oh yeah, it is the Indian financial calculation. It is not, some countries have September to September. So this is March to April financial system. So if it is Jan, Feb and March months, then it is last quarter. Because any one of this month is true, then this is the last quarter of the financial year. If nothing is there, say it is, I am putting it as December, then this is the other way. Financial year is not ending now. Financial year is not ending now. Fine. Then we have a Boolean logic also. So it is and, or, all this combination will have lot of examples. Let me just put this, instead of typing all, I am just writing it here. Temperature is 30, is sunny, true. Now here, if temperature is greater than 30, and means both the things has to be true. And is, if there is or, then one of the thing has to be true. Here in that case, it's a hot and sunny day. So fine, now it is not a hot and sunny day based on that. Now we can only use we can only use or combination. It's time, fine. This entire source code is available to you. You can practice it. What's this or? So anyone is true, this will be print today is a holiday. Now let's see this, because anyone is true, today is a holiday. If both are false, then it might be a working day. That is the condition. Then another one is not. Let's come back here, use the not. Fine. So let's run this. Here you see, not is reverse of true. You are in A grade, you are in A grade. So this is true. Here you see, not, the text is, the bottom one is, though is a grade is A, but I have used it not, so it will make it false, the reverse of it. So that is how the not works. So we can even use everything, all the three also. So let's see this combination. I am not typing all this. Run this. Here you see, or is used and is used not, but important is this bracket. If this bracket is removed, then these two will be checked. There is the logic will different. So that is why this is within the bracket is first evaluated. Understand that. That is why this one is there. In your, when you download it, change these brackets and all, and then experiment with that. You will get different results. So one more thing. Okay, we have already discussed how a if-else condition handles a non-value. Non-value means it is a false. It is not, because if condition checks only true or false, there is no, it cannot check a none. None means it is false only. So that is the logic. For that, there is an example. I am not typing much. This entire source code, you can download it. The variable is none or otherwise false, because I have used here none. None means it is false if for a if-else condition checking. So these are all the small applications. You download this entire code. Just I will insert some comments here, so it is for easy for you. This is a basically a logical checking. So based on that, many of the code blocks, conditions, when you develop the applications, will be using. If this, do this. If it is not, do that. Like that, these many logics will be there. So based on that, will be creating several logics also based on that. So if else is, always remember, it handles, it's based on a true or false. So if it is true, do this. If it is false, do that. And none falls under false condition. It is not true. And we can use and or not, all this logical operation along with that. So it will be useful for us in our all the applications, whatever we will develop. So keeping that in mind, tomorrow onwards we'll start the loops for us, understanding for loop, while loop, do while loop, when to use what loop, all this. These are interesting, and moreover then it will open our door to develop some small applications. Small, very small, not a very complex one. Tables, then Armstrong numbers, then grade of student, this is the mark, what is the grade. Start with the simple ones, not a very complex. You may be thinking of these are easy, but start with that. You will have all those practices of loops and if and else conditions, you will be using it. That's all, friends. So request is, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon, so you'll be notified as and when we are adding, and we are frequently adding also. We'll uploading frequently the videos, question answer sessions. Every day we are 7 o'clock, we are coming Monday to Friday. So join us, and thank you for watching, and don't forget to share this with your friends.